Hi, I'm Alex Swallow, the influence expert, and this is part of the Big Ideas series, where I grapple with something big in the world of influence and try to explain it to you. So, today I want to talk to you about how to decide what you should focus on in your life, how to decide what you should do with your life, how to decide what your passion is. And I'm going to try to give you a few tips. What's really important though is that you really apply this to yourself. Whatever I tell you, it will only work if you think about it in your own context. I'm not you, I haven't had your life experience, I haven't been through the same things that you have, I don't have your same skills and attributes, I don't have your same visions and dreams, I don't have the same support structure around me that you do. I quite possibly don't live in the same country that you do either. You might have some very different things to me, and yet hopefully we have enough similarities that some of the things that I'll discuss with you today will be useful to you. So first, I want to think about why is it that it's important to have passion in your life? And I've got three reasons. The first is that if you get up with a purpose every single day, chances are that you'll get a lot more done with your day. If you get out of bed with a spring in your step, if you vow to start the day and make the day your own and really do something special with every day you have, then it's likely that you'll be able to get more done and make a bigger contribution to the world. Second, if you find your passion, you should feel it's something that you were born to do. By which I mean really that it's something that comes very easily to you. When I say easily, I don't mean it doesn't involve hard work, and I don't mean you don't have to master it and pick up new skills and always be on the watch for understanding new things about your subject area. But it should be something that is with this concept of flow, which is often discussed. It's really something worth looking up. So, can you find something that will enable you to be in a state of flow where the work seems easy, or it just seems that somehow you were born to do this? Now, sometimes people worry and say, well, there's nothing that I can find that I was born to do, and I like lots of things. Well, it may be, congratulations, that you're good at and passionate about lots of things, and that's brilliant. It may be that you haven't found the thing yet, or it may be that you found the thing, but you haven't experienced it in such a way so that you're going to enjoy it properly. So, to give you an example, it might be that you're interested in finance, and at the moment you're working in something to do with finance, but you don't seem very passionate about it. So, you're thinking, oh, it can't be my passion. However, you know you're pretty good at it. And what you found is that when you're teaching other people about finance, then you get really fired up about it. So it might be that your real passion is teaching other people about finance rather than simply doing the financial calculations yourself. So it might be that your real passion is packed inside something that you don't feel so passionate about. The third reason why finding your passion can make a real difference to your life is because it gives you the chance to feel free and to make your own choices. Now, quite often we're conditioned by our upbringing, by our society, by our culture, by our own internal voice, by the norms of the city and civilization in which we live, to think that we should do certain things, to think that certain things are good or praiseworthy or respectful, and other things are not worth wasting your time on and not considered important. If you can genuinely think about what's most important to you, even if it isn't something that seems important in the society in which you live, then you'll feel a much greater sense of freedom. And remember that a lot of societies are essentially, or every society is essentially a historical accident. There's a sequence of events throughout history that have meant that a particular society has got to a particular way. And also individuals too, the people around you, your family and friends, they've had things happen to them in their lives that have given them certain ideas and prejudices and opinions about things which may or may not be relevant for you. But if you can find something that you're interested in, let's suppose you're in a society that doesn't value what it is you're interested in. So you love art and you're in a society that doesn't really value artists, or your family don't value artists, or your cultural upbringing doesn't value artists. If you love art and you realize you're really passionate about it and you want to pursue it, even though it might be more difficult for you to pursue than for other people who, for example, have grown up in a culture that very much appreciates art, or have parents who are artists or are historians, or has a brother or sister who is an artist, if you manage to overcome those things and nevertheless pursue a career in art, then you'll feel a great, I predict at least, you'll feel a great sense of freedom, perhaps even greater than the person for whom their career choice or their career path was easy. But people might say, okay, this is great. I can see the point of having a passion, and I think that I might have a passion, and I can see that other people have passions. I can look around me and see the things that other people are passionate about and what gets them excited. When I talk to people, I can see that people get really excited. You might observe that I'm quite excited now because one of the things I love is helping other people discover the things that they're passionate about. So hopefully my own passion for this subject comes across at least partly in this video. But if you are looking to find your passion, what are some of the things that you can potentially do in order to be able to uncover that passion and to find the life that you really want to live? And I'm going to give you 3 tips or 3 things that I'd like you to think about. The first thing is, I'd like you to do this thought experiment. You can imagine this in 2 different ways. Either imagine that you have all the money in the world. What would you like to do in that situation? Or simply imagine that money isn't important. Everybody just gets given whatever they want in material terms anyway. And money, having a lot of wealth, isn't a marker in any way of being a good person, and it's not important in the particular society you're in. So, what is it that you would do with your life if money was no object? If you woke up tomorrow and you were Bill Gates, you were Warren Buffett, you were Richard Branson, you were whoever had lots of money, and you never ever needed to work again, what is it that would get you out of bed in the mornings? Now, your first answer might be a cold cocktail by the pool. And that's entirely possible. If your passion is cocktails and relaxing, then that might sustain you for the rest of your life. But it's entirely possible that after a few months of cocktails and relaxing, or in some people's cases, perhaps including my own, a few years of cocktails and relaxing, we'd realize that we had something more important that we wanted to do. And that might be as simple as wanting to spend more time with our families. It might be that we wanted to contribute to someone else's life. It might be that we wanted to have respect beyond simply the money that we had and the respect that people gave us because of the money that we had. So what is it, if money were no object, that you would do? So that's the first thing I'd like you to think about. And the second thing I'd like you to think about is, what do other people tell you that you're good at or you seem to be passionate about? So what have you noticed throughout your life that people say, wow, you're so good at that, I could never do that? And I don't mean people just saying that to flatter you. I mean people being genuinely surprised, or people genuinely seeing that you have a passion for something, or you have a skill in something that they just don't have. So I'm sure that people have said this about you, and I'm also sure that you've seen it many, many times in other people, when other people have done things that you think that you would never be able to do. What are those times when people have said it about you? What are those things that they said seem to really bring you alive, and it's just like naturally what you were born to do? If you can write some of those down, they might also help you to think about some of the things that you're passionate about. But one thing you need to be careful of course, is that if you feel that people have just been telling you things that you're good at but you have no passion for, then perhaps you need to go and ask people again. For example, I know that you think I'm good at finance because I have a career in finance, but are there any other things, because I'm not interested in having a career in finance in the long term, are there other things that I could do that you see that I'm really passionate about, you think I'm good at, you think make me stand out? Just try to get some feedback from other people. And the other thing to be careful with is maybe you can ask your best friends or you can ask your family, but just bear in mind that they're more than likely going to say the sort of things that you want to hear, because they really don't want to hurt your feelings. Sometimes it's good to speak to somebody who doesn't know you so well, maybe doesn't really know what are the things they think you care about or what you're sensitive about, and crucially also who isn't going to be quite so worried about upsetting your feelings, because you really need to get some good feedback here. And the third and final thing that I'd say, which should help you, is I want you to think about what can you actually test. So let's suppose you want a particular career. Is there a way that you could do that in your spare time? Is there a way that you could do that as a volunteer? Is there a way that you could kind of dabble in that alongside whatever else it is that you're doing in your life and that you do to pay the bills? So, as an example, I'm very passionate about wine, and at one point I thought I'd like to have a career in wine. And it never happened because I got involved with the charity sector and lots of other things. However, if I seriously wanted to think about a career in wine, what I should probably do is to maybe work in a bar where I was serving people wines, to work on in a vineyard, where I could learn more about how wines are made, maybe to be an apprentice along someone who knew a lot more about wine than I did, maybe to work in a wine shop, all sorts of things. But there might be something that would mean that I didn't give my career entirely over to wine before deciding whether this was something that I really wanted to do. The other reason why this is very important to work out is because actually we may find that something that we are passionate about, we are only passionate about it in an amateur way. We really only do want to dabble. So I might find, for example, if I tried a career in wine, but although I'm very passionate about it, what I enjoy about it is the fact that it is something that doesn't actually have any consequence in my life. It doesn't pay my bills. Whether I'm good at judging wine or not or I know much about wine is not the way in which most people would evaluate me as a human being. I don't have friends because they love my knowledge of wine. My family aren't interested in the fact that I know a lot about wine from a professional point of view. They might be happy that I found something that I enjoy in my personal life. But so if I tried working in a wine shop and I found, although I kind of enjoyed it, it wasn't something I could see myself doing long term, then I'd have found an extremely valuable piece of information about what I perhaps shouldn't be doing with my life. The reason why that's so important is we can often go through our lives wishing that we were doing this or we were doing that, that we were trying this career or that career. And actually, if we took the time just to try this or that career, or to volunteer in this or that shop, or to speak to this or that person who was actually in that line of work, we would realize that it wasn't something that we actually wanted to spend a lot of our time doing. Finally, I'd just like to give you 2 tips, which I also hope will be helpful. The first thing is that if when you go out there into the world and you look at all the available things you could do and you look at your passions and you've worked out what you like and you find there isn't really a job that fits you, create your own job. But some of the most amazing industries have been created by people being forward thinking and saying, there's a need for that out there. I've got something that can help it. There's no current market in quite that way, but I can see there's a need for it. And so I'm going to do something about it and create a business. Now, you need to be careful because, of course, you have to make sure that people are actually going to pay you for the things that you're good at and for the things you're passionate about. Otherwise, it is just a hobby. But if you find something that seems new and nobody else seems to be doing it, don't be deterred. If you're passionate about it and your passion shines through and you're actually good at it and there's actually a need, there's every chance that you'll be able to be successful. You might not be the richest person in the world, but you'll make enough to live by and you'll be rich in happiness, you'll be rich in freedom, and you'll be rich with the passion that you'll be fulfilling. And my final tip is kind of related to this. It's simply that I want you to aim as high as possible. We can be very hard on ourselves as human beings, but if we follow our true passions, then we can achieve the best that humanity can achieve. And hopefully, at least some of our passions will be around helping other people, will be around helping people to uncover the amazing things that we found about the world and the amazing things that we want to share with the world. So it's really, really important that you aim as high as possible and that you're not too hard on yourself and that you recognize your talents and do the best you can with them. So in this video, we've discussed why it's important to have a passion and the difference it can make to your life. And we've looked at some of the reasons why that is important. Then we've looked at how you can discover your passion, recognizing that it isn't as simple as clicking your fingers. You actually need to do some hard work to investigate it. And finally, I've given you 2 tips. One, to create something new if you need to, and secondly, to aim as high as you can to be the best that you can and make the greatest difference to the world that's possible. I hope you found that useful. I'm Alex Swallow, the Influence Expert, and you can learn more about my work at www.theinfluenceexpert.com, and I'll put the link below the video as well. Thanks so much, and please subscribe to my channel if you found this useful.